Hey everyone, it's Kaycie, and today we're going to go through kind of a mini flow where the focus is going to be on preparing the body for inversions. Now, there are more soft approaches to taking inversions. They're a little bit more restorative or relaxing, and what we're going to be focused on today is more of the heat building, the intensity of inversions. So think headstand, handstand, and forearm balance. But we're not going to be doing the actual inversions in the practice. We're just going to be going through the prep work. So preparing the body effectively to be able to practice these types of inversions, but also applies to arm balances as well. A lot of the same focuses within the body. So when I like to think about inversions, I like to think about the areas of the body such as the wrists, warming up the shoulders, getting heavily into the core and some into the hip flexors, and then a little bit of focus into the hamstrings as well. They all tie in together to help create a more solidified inversion practice. So we're going to jump right on in. Once again, this is just preparing the body. So think very light dynamic stretching, and then some heat building, and then we'll work some strength into the range of motion in preparation for those inversions. So from a comfortable seated position, close your eyes. We're just going to take a few breaths. Lift tall through the spine. Exhale, let all of the breath out. Slow breath in through the nose. Open up through the belly and let it rise. Lift all the way up into the chest and the shoulders. Hold the breath. And then just open your mouth and exhale, let it all the way out. Slow breath in through the nose, fill up the belly, the ribs, all the way up into the chest and shoulders, and then hold the breath. Through the nose this time, exhale, empty out through the chest, through the ribs, and all the way out through the belly. One more here, slow breath in. Take your time to expand in all directions. Hold briefly at the top of the breath. See if you can stretch the lungs open just a little bit more. And then through the nose, exhale, empty out the breath, chest, ribs, and then all the way out through the belly. Okay, maintain your breath. Let's go ahead and open up through the eyes. So first we're going to prepare a little bit into the wrist. So right hand reaches forward like a little stop. Left hand comes in front of the fingers and gently draws them back. So as you draw the fingers back, feel that opening into the wrist. And then as you release, let the fingers drop down. For more intensity, create a fist. Left hand comes in front and gently draw the hand back. And then go ahead and release, shake it out. Left hand reaches forward. Right hand comes in front of the fingers. Gently start to draw them back as you feel the heel of the hand draw forward. Nice extension through the arm. And then as you release, let the fingers drop down or create a fist. Right hand in front of the left as you draw it back. Nice. Go ahead and release. Shake it out. And then interlace your fingers in front of you, flip the palms away, and reach them directly in front of the shoulders. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale. You're really going to press and round just through the upper back, through the shoulders. Create a broadening through the upper back. And then inhale, pull the shoulder blades back. Imagine trying to draw them towards each other. And then exhale, press, round. Now inhale, lift the arms all the way up over your head, holding here. And on your next breath in, lift the shoulders as high up towards the ears as you can. And then exhale, relax the shoulders down. Again, inhale, lift the shoulders up. Exhale, relax the shoulders down. Now go ahead and release the fingers, let the arms open all the way down to the sides. Roll the shoulders forward and up. Spine lifts. and exhale, roll them all the way back and down. Okay, let's do that one more time. This time, instead of having the fingers interlaced, we're gonna keep the hands separate, so we're kind of mimicking the actual shape of, let's think a handstand, for instance. So shoulder width apart. Hands reach forward, palms forward, fingers spread out nice and wide. And then you're gonna press round through the upper back. And then inhale, pull the shoulders back. And exhale, round. Inhale, lift the arms directly overhead, palms reaching up towards the ceiling, fingers spread open. On your next breath in, lift the shoulders up towards the ears, press, 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 press. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, press, press. And then exhale, relax. Let the arms drop down to the sides. Interlace the fingers behind the back here just briefly. Knuckles extend away from the shoulders, getting the arms nice and straight, or as straight as you can. And then just work on lifting the arms away from the lower back. Take another breath. And then go ahead and gently release. Roll the shoulders forward and up. Exhale, back and down. One more time. Inhale, roll the shoulders forward, up towards the ears. Pull them back and draw them all the way down. Okay, so let's get into the hamstrings just a little bit here. Opening up the legs wide. And as you do, kind of lean to a side, pull the flesh back from underneath the sit bones, getting a little more rooted. And then from here, if you need to just drop the fingers back behind you and continue to work on lifting the chest away from the hips, this might be where you stay. Otherwise, hands forward, lower back stays long. And then maybe start to walk your fingers forward, tipping forward with the pelvis, not just curling forward in the spine. So extend your spine, tip through the pelvis. And then from here, I want you to find a little bit of movement. Just start to sway a little side to side from wherever you are, whether you're seated more upright or you're folded more over. Feel into your hips. Maybe feel yourself kind of going past a little bit of that tension. Another breath or so, just waking up the hamstrings. For a lot of the movements that we get into, we're gonna try to use the core for as much control as possible. And sometimes accessing that core space requires a little more kind of opening into the backs of the legs and hips. So we're gonna try to open those up. Okay, slowly come all the way back up to a seat if you're not here already. We're gonna bend the knees, bring the feet in. Let's just drop back on the hands for a moment and rock the knees. Okay, so now we're gonna get a little more into our hip flexors, strengthening these bad boys and activating into our core. Okay, so a lot of the positions when we're inverting, we wanna once again use that slow controlled motion, which means a lot of that leverage point is right at the hips into the core, okay? So let's go ahead and bend the knees, walk the feet in towards the hips, and bring the legs together. Hands can hold the backs of your thighs and just work on lifting your chest up, relaxing your shoulders down, and then feeling your belly button start to pull back towards the spine and lift up behind your ribs. So nice core activation, Uddiyana Bandha, holding that lock of energy. Keep the spine lifted as you walk the feet back until the feet can hover off the ground. Maybe start to work on lifting them up parallel with the ground. Nothing changes in the spine. Stay here. Maybe release the arms forward. Maybe extend the legs out, okay? If it's gonna compromise the spine or your posture, your alignment, back off, okay? And I want you to really focus here on trying to decrease the space between thighs and chest. So the more you can lift the chest up, lift up through the knees, and then pull the thighs towards the chest, you're gonna feel those hip flexors turn on, really trying to decrease that space, trying to get the shoulders to stack over the hips as much as possible. Wherever you are, hold for 3, 2, and 1. Set the feet to the ground, relax over your legs, just let your head hang. So that was a lot of fire in the belly, a lot of energy to try to suck those legs closer in. And we're gonna kind of come into that same energy for inversion preparation, okay? So take one more breath here. All right, let's sweep the legs around and come into a nice tabletop position, hands and knees. So first, we're going to prep a little more just into the shoulders, and this preparation is good for headstand and forearm balance, since the only difference really between the two might be slightly different arm variations, right? But essentially, one, the head is up, and the other, the head is down. So when the head is down, you have another anchoring point, but we want to decrease the amount of weight that we're putting on our heads or our necks, which means we need to get those shoulders nice and fired up here. So either way, this will be a good prep. We're going to start by taking our forearms down to the ground, bring them parallel to each other, and then we're going to interlace our hands. This is going to be almost like headstand prep, but we're going to keep our head lifted off the ground, full weight in our shoulders. So make sure your elbows don't go wider than your shoulders, okay? Walk them in if needed. And then you're going to come over so that your shoulders are stacked right over the elbows, okay? And then just from this position, I want you to press into the elbows and try to lift your chest as far away from the ground as possible. So already you're gonna feel kind of that natural lifting up and away, pressing through those elbows. That's what we're looking for. We don't wanna be collapsing. We wanna be fully active in the shoulders. Now let's go ahead and hold this and extend your legs back, coming into kind of a forearm plank position now with the hands clasped. Once again, if your elbows start to go wider, walk them in, press down, don't collapse. And then you're gonna start to walk the feet in, piking the hips up as high as you can. Keep your head up. Even if you need to drop the head, don't let it rest on the ground. Okay, so as the feet walk in as much as you can, you might notice your hamstrings here, okay? This is why we tried to open them up. If the hamstrings are fairly open, you're probably just gonna be feeling the shoulders. Don't collapse. Try to get the hips as high over the shoulders as possible. Holding here, breathe for 3, press, 2, and 1. Walk the feet back, drop the knees, take a child's pose. Let the hips sink towards the heels. You can relax your hands down, arms rest where it's comfortable. Couple more breaths. The prep work is still hard work, okay? So be gentle, be kind with your bodies. Rest when needed. One more breath here. Okay, so now we're gonna take it one step more towards that forearm balance preparation, okay? So essentially, it's really the same thing, but the arms are just a little bit different, okay? So I like the hands at the front of the mat, that way I have plenty of space behind me. Forearms down, palms down, fingers spread out nice and wide. Okay, this time we're gonna keep our forearms parallel. We're not gonna connect to the hands here. And it's really common for the elbows to slide out. So sometimes I like to walk them even a little more narrow than my shoulders, knowing that they're naturally gonna splay just a little bit, okay? Now, come forward, walk the knees back until shoulders are right over the elbows. Press down to make sure you're not collapsing into the shoulders. Your chest is lifting actively away. Then slowly extend your legs back. Come into that forearm plank position. From forearm plank, once again, press down into the elbows and gently kind of draw them towards each other to avoid them splaying apart. Feel your core engage. Navel draws up and in as you start to walk the feet in. Now this time I want you to keep your focal point looking down between the arms. Try not to let your head drop on this one. We're gonna keep it actively looking down, so this would be the shape you would be in coming into a forearm balance, or at least a typical variation you'll see. Now from here, try to get the hips to stack as high over the shoulders as you can. Stay here. If you need to come out, come out. Maybe your right leg reaches up towards the ceiling. Maybe come high up onto your left toes. Try to shift your weight up and over those shoulders. And then right foot comes down. Rest if needed. Otherwise, other side. Left leg reaches up. Hips come over the shoulders. Come high up onto the right toes. Press to the elbows. Set the left foot down. Walk the feet back and drop into a child's pose. Relax. Maybe the arms drop down to your sides. Maybe they rest underneath your head. Maybe they stay forward in front of you. Listen to your body. Slow it all down. Notice the intensity that builds. And see if you can just slow it down. All right, so we kind of went through headstand prep. We went through forearm balance prep. Once again, very similar. Now we're going to be working more towards handstand prep. So with this, shoulder width apart really is the key here. I do like to go a little wider than my shoulders with my hands. Structurally, it feels better in my body. Play with your little adjustments. Find what works for you. But the fingers are going to be spread nice and wide here, and we're really going to focus kind of when we were in boat pose, when we were focusing on bringing the thighs towards the chest. As you notice, when we're walking the feet in, getting the hips stacked over our shoulders, it's that same motion of drawing up and in, pulling that space closer together. Okay, so let's come into tabletop position. Hands about shoulder width apart, spread the fingers wide, and I really want you to grip into the fingertips here because you're gonna really use them a lot, especially if you're working handstands into your practice. Okay, so extend the legs back. Let's come into a plank position on the hands. Now, same thing applies here as we did on the others. Press through the hands and try to kind of round your upper back and shoulders. You're kind of hollowing out through the chest. Now, start to walk the feet in. Keep the shoulders over the wrists. As the feet walk in, press to the hands as much as you can. Keep weight in the hands. If you don't walk in very much, that's okay. If you walk in a lot, cool. Doesn't matter. Just work where you are. Hips as high over the shoulders as you can get them. Lean in. Squeeze through the fingertips for 3, 2, lift the hips. 1, walk the feet back. Drop the knees. Sink back, child's pose. Shake out the wrists. Okay, we're gonna do one more exercise. And what we're gonna do is we're basically going to work on hopping a little bit from our hands. So I'll show you real quick, then we'll do it together. We'll go downward dog, lifting a leg, and we're gonna divide the space between our foot and our hands into 3 sections. And we're gonna hop that back foot to each section. So first, the hips will lift, hopping a forward 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So that last third really is very challenging because it requires the hips going up, and sometimes there's not a whole lot of space. So it's a straight up motion and a lot of pressing through the hands. So work where you are, be patient, be kind. Let's make our way to downward facing dog. Okay. Now from downward dog, hands about shoulder width, fingers spread wide, and then let's step the feet together. Right leg lifts up. Now you're gonna look slightly forward towards the hands and kind of divide the mat between the back foot and your front hands. Divide that space into thirds. Okay, we're gonna take that back foot and we're gonna hop it forward by getting the hips up as we hop, okay? So go ahead and take a little bend into the knee. You can use the top leg to kind of swing up a little bit, but use your core. And you're gonna hop 1/3 of the way closer. Okay, stabilize. And then hop 1/3 of the way closer. Okay, now we're gonna try to get that left foot as close to the hands as we can. Even if it hardly moves, it's okay. Press to the hands, round your upper back and shoulders, use your core, hips up, 1/3 closer. And then go ahead and just step your feet all the way back, downward facing dog. Okay, last side. Left leg lifts up, looking forward. Press to the hands, feel your core. Dividing the mat in thirds. Take a little bend into the right knee, think hips up as you hop 1/3 of the way closer. Take a little bend, hop 1/3 of the way closer. Okay, hips really gotta go high, press to the hands, 1/3 of the way closer, and lower the left foot down. Let's walk back, quick little child's pose. Whoo, feel the heat, feel the energy in your body. Just kind of moving around here. If you need to, open up your mouth, let go. And then slowly make your way up into a nice, comfortable, seated position. Spine up tall, close the eyes here for a moment. Take another deep breath in. Open the mouth and just release. Hands together, heart center. Thank your bodies for all that they do, and thank you for allowing me to guide you. Namaste. All right, y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you feel nice and warm, prepared for whatever comes next. Maybe that was it and you just take a little rest and you're good. Otherwise, enjoy your practice, your inversions, your arm balances, whatever it is that you're working on, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks so much.